Oosh. Just gonna chuck in a little bit of Ken's theme for my intro to my video. Shoutouts to Evan and his Battlefield 3 Guile theme trolling. So I decided to add in a little bit of Ken's theme while at it. So anyways, straight to the video. This is my 6th video. I'm adding in another Protoss versus Protoss because I feel like I've split it out my matches to an even amount. 2 videos to Terran, 2 videos to Zerg, and I'll add in another second Protoss video. So again with Protoss, the main thing that you want to do is you need to always make sure you find the appropriate counter. You pretty much have to do this with every race. Excuse this noise. This is just me playing around with my poker chips.
You must construct additional pylons.
So here, as you can see, I've planted my pylon at my second ramp. So this suggests that I'm going to be going for the Forge Fast Expand. As you can see, I'm chrono boosting my Nexus to make faster probes. I'm building my Forge at my second ramp. All the while chrono boosting my probes as fast as I can. Here I'm deciding to send that probe out to go scout out his base. I send in my secondary probe to go take care of business, building photon cannons and building another Nexus as soon as the time comes when I have enough minerals. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just going to actually quit our Safari to just try and make sure there's minimal lag. Back into the action. There we go. Now it's running a lot more smoother. Right, so here at the bottom of the screen, as you can see, my probe scouted out his base. I can see there's a pylon there, another pylon here. He's going quite a few probes. I actually haven't noticed, I haven't seen him build any buildings yet. This suggests that he's actually going to be going for a cheese. So here he's sending 2 probes to try and cut off my 1 probe. Not going to work. There he's built another pylon, which is actually making me think that he's quite new. But later on you're going to be able to find out where all of his buildings went actually. So anyways, without further much to do, I build my gateway here, another photon cannon. It's more of a peculiar build. It's pretty much like I'm building a massive wall off at my second ramp. Just to say, you can't come up into my main base. I'm not going to let you see what kind of tech I'm going to go for. All he does know is that I've got a second Nexus on the way, which means I'm going to be having accelerated regeneration, accelerated mineral gathering. I need to chuck down a gas soon enough. As the gateway comes down, which is in a few moments, I'm going to be building a cybernetics core. As you can see here with this 1 probe, I made him scout around this whole base. It's just a normal security precaution to do, just to make sure that there's not a proxy pylon being built in my base. Just to make sure that he doesn't come in with this probe and just quickly build a cheeky pylon so he can walk gate to the pylon. As you can see in my in the video beforehand, what you can actually do with the proxy pylon, they're very, very dangerous. So he's got to watch out for that. Here my second Nexus comes down. I'm sending more probes to it. I assigned 3 probes to gas, another 3 probes to the second gas. I need to build 1 zealot. I've got a cybernetics core on the way. So here I'm defended, well, not really defending, it's just more the fact that I've built pretty much a stable structure. As you can see, as soon as the cybernetics core went down, I started researching warp gate. The most crucial thing for Protoss, research warp gate as soon as possible. Otherwise you're not going to get normal units out fast enough. Here I've got another gateway being built. Doesn't really matter where you place your gateways, just to make sure that you do have enough gateways out. My probes are starting to mess up. We're going to take a look at the income. I've got 26 harvesters. He's only got 16. So that means I'm getting a lot more minerals than him. He's got 5 zealots. I've got 1 zealot and 1 sentry. And APM wise, I'm at 34 and he's only at 17, which actually suggests that he's not that good of a player. However, I'm not the one to judge. That's more the end result that really does matter. So this has pretty much been a pretty staple game. He hasn't decided to attack my base yet. I've stayed pretty passive. What I am going to show you later on in this game is how to act accordingly to what type of battle strategy he goes. You haven't seen the Protoss air unit called Void Rays. It's pretty much the second air unit that Protoss has. They're very strong, only when they attack you for a continuous amount of time. So say for example a Void Ray decides to attack a pylon. By the time the pylon loses all of its blue HP or all of its blue shield, the Void Ray's attack will be pretty much +3, +4. It's like the longer he attacks one unit, the stronger his Void or his beam gets. You're going to be able to see those in action because this is what this guy goes, and I'm going to show you how to act to it accordingly. So here, warp gates has almost been researched, or it has been researched. I'm now transforming all my warp gates into all my gateways into warp gates. I've got 4 of them. I'm building a Twilight Council in order to buff my Zealots and Stalkers. As you know, it gives you Charge Zealots or Blink Stalkers. I've got my two gas coming down. I'm going to assign 3 probes to the gas and another 3 probes to the other gas. Have to build another pylon just to make sure I don't get supply blocked. So looking back at the units, he's now got 5 Zealots still. I've got 2 Zealots, 3 Stalkers, 2 Sentries. I've got 34 probes, he's got 26. I'm getting much more income than him. He actually doesn't have a sufficient amount of probes. Right, so with the Twilight Council, I am now chrono boosting Charge Zealots. Also, I've got this Forge here, who's actually this Forge is researching ground armor level 1, and I've got this Forge here researching ground weapons level 1. So again, as you know, ground weapons level 1 boosts the damage of all Protoss ground units, and obviously armor, likewise, it boosts the armor of Protoss ground units. So there I've got a pretty small ball of an army, able to defend against pretty much anything that he decides to throw at me. If he's actually just leaving me alone, I'm going to leave him alone and just quickly try and take up as much as possible. Here I build 2 Sentries, 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker. Always good to keep a good balance. Sentries, as you know, are very crucial to blocking off and walling off. So here my Zealots now have been boosted with Charge. As you can hear, it's going to be research is complete. Yep. That's a robotics facility that's just gone down. And with that robotics facility, I'm going to be making an observer. Now, an observer, as you know, it basically means I can scout out, because the observer is invisible, even though it moves very slowly. Is very crucial to being able to scout out where the enemy is, what they're going, etc. So all the while, I'm building pylons, just adding to my army. Here I'm sending out these guys to attack these pile of rubble. 2 more gateways down, researching them into warp gates. As you can see with this pile of rubble, as soon as you destroy it, it lets you have the extra free ramp, which lets you pretty much gives you clear flow from the first base to the second base to the third base. When I do decide to create my third base. As you can see, double tapping 1 is going to get you to Nexus number 1, double tapping 2 is going to get you to Nexus 2, and I've hotkeyed my army to number 3, and I've also hotkeyed my observer to number 4. So with my observer, I'm sending him now into the enemy base. With this one probe who's trying to build a Nexus, I now realize what he actually did and why his gateways weren't being built here when I first got out of this base. He was actually trying to cheese me. So he had all these gateways built here in the hopes of creating Zealots one by one and sending them all into my base to try and take me out early. But when I created my Forge Fast Expand and I had that photon cannon down, he pretty much had to give up straight away. Which I believe, and I didn't even mean to do this on purpose, I didn't even know this was going to happen, but just a stroke of luck. It's kind of funny how I decided to do this, because I pretty much shut him down as soon as he started. So here I researched a couple of stalkers, and I'm going to show you why. My observer has now scouted out his base, and I realized that there's no gateways, these are all stargates. Now stargates create air units, and these are void rays. Now he doesn't know my observer's in his base, but I've pretty much scouted out that he's got void rays. And he's actually looking to mass void rays. So that means that all my ground units, the zealots are pretty much absolutely useless. Unless they go into his base and start attacking the buildings. But zealots can't attack the air units, so I'm pretty much going to have to go all for stalkers. Now at this point in time, I need to research ground and armor level weapons. I need to upgrade them. But what's more crucial is blink. Having blink means my stalkers are going to be more mobile. At this point I was going to make Colossus, but then I realized, well, there's no point on actually making Colossus because the Colossus can't attack the Void Rays either, because Colossus can only attack ground units and Void Rays can attack Colossus, so that's going to be a waste of time. So it's pretty much going to be mass Stalkers. And as you can see here, I've got 1 Colossus, 11 Stalkers, 4 Sentries, 9 Zealots. Soon that's going to change to me going to be acting appropriately to counter him. So here, with all my Warp Gates, I just built all Stalkers, and now I've got 17 Stalkers. So pretty much what I've done right now is I've scouted out what his army is going to be, and I'm now acting accordingly to how to counter it. Stalkers for sure are able to take down Void Rays. Void Rays have very low HP, they can fall very quickly, especially with my Stalkers having extra ground attack, extra ground defense. As you can see here, I walked in another lot of Stalkers, so now I have 22 Stalkers. It's always crucial to make sure that you counter accordingly. So as you can see, his army, he's only got 13 Void Rays, 5 Zealots, they're absolutely nothing. I've got much bigger army than him. I research and I make another 3, warp in another 3 more Stalkers just to be safe. Looking at APM and looking at sending my observer in, I can tell that he's got that many Void Rays. Doesn't seem to be that strong. I'm going to go in for the attack now. So looking at APM, I'm at 47, he's at 21. I also built a Dark Templar, a Dark Shrine, just to be cheeky, so I can send in a couple of Dark Templars. As you know, they're invisible units, they can attack and they're permanently cloaked and they do very strong damage, but they can fall like leaves. Not exactly the best. Here he scouted out my observer, he was able to detect it and he shot it down. Not to worry because I pretty much figured out what he's going to be and what he's going to have. My Colossus has actually stayed away from the battle. Here there's 5 Zealots sitting at the shrine. So now pretty much he knows that I'm on the way, but it doesn't really matter, like I said. And with my mass Stalkers, I'm going to be coming in to attack his base. So, blinking in, I'm able to take out all the photon cannons that he's tried to do. That's a complete waste of money with all those photon cannons. They're not exactly useful. My Stalkers are able to come in with my Zealots, take out his second expansion. I'm warping in more Stalkers all the while as this happens. So here he's got 1 sentry and he's trying to block off the whole ramp. And here I actually find out that he's actually sent all his Void Rays over. So now I'm in a bit of a pickle. He's hoping to look for the base trade, but it doesn't really matter because I have a lot of minerals, a lot of gas, I'm still researching. And this whole army was actually created inside my base, and it's actually fending off against his Void Rays, not too bad. So as you can see, that was a tactical move by the Blink Stalkers. They blinked backwards in order to not let the Void Rays all attack them at once. And as you can see here, my army's very mobile because my Stalkers are Blink Stalkers. Because they can blink, they can get to everywhere pretty fast. Plus the movement speed of Stalkers is very fast. Here, he's sending more Void Rays in to take on my 3rd expansion. It's not really going to work though because I took out his 2nd, so he's still behind. Him taking out my 3rd Nexus, I'm not too bothered about that because he's still on the back foot. Those look like to be the only Void Rays he has left. I'm about to take out that very last one. Didn't make it out fast enough, poor little fella. And here, I leave my Zealots behind because, well, actually no, I let them join the army. I mass in more Stalkers as much as I can. Like I said, it's the best way to counter Void Rays. So he thinks I'm going to go take his base, that's why I walked in more Stalkers right now. He's now going to try and do as much damage as he can with the last of those Void Rays. Doesn't really matter. And here's when I decide to blink into his base and fully take it out. So here he realized he's pretty much screwed. He's got about 4 Void Rays left. Isn't really going to matter. With those Stalkers there, I'm going to be able to blink them over just to take care of them. It doesn't really matter though, because my Stalkers and my army here has pretty much taken out his whole base. So this video is actually, again, it wasn't that hard. I was lucky at the start. I decided to counter his cheese without even figuring out he was going to cheese. Here I say GG and he has to agree. He didn't really go with the best move going for those Void Rays, but hey, that's pretty much the end of the game. So this is just more like a tip and a pointer to make sure that you create observers, because observers can detect invisible units, they're invisible themselves, and they can scout out, and they're really good scouts. Again, I would have continued making Zealots, maybe a couple of Stalkers, and I probably actually would have gone Colossus. The funny thing is, if I had gone Colossus, he might have actually been able to beat me. But because I sent out my observer, because I scouted out his base, and because I was able to see that he massed Void Rays here earlier on in the game, that's why I decided to go mass Stalkers instead. And as you can see, with the mass Stalkers, I was able to fully take out his Void Rays. Plus they're very mobile. I was able to get inside his second natural expansion and his main base, fully take it out, and eventually win the game. Oosh! Shoutouts to Evan and Jordan. Evan, I just saw your most recent Batman YouTube video. Can't wait for you to verse the Joker. It looks pretty intense, and I really like the cutscene with Rausch. I think that's when the guy who stabs Hugo Strange to the back. It's pretty intense, man. Sorry for if I ruin any spoilers, guys. Alright, sweet. Thank you very much. That's my 6th video.